So again, rule number 1, don't shout out the answer when you know it. Rule number 2, need to see the work, because today, again, justify our answer and find K are the big things. So when it says, according to the table, or if they ask you, do X and Y show a direct variation? Please join me on number 1. And though you could answer right away yes or no and justify, since we're doing this together, please on number 1 put down the first thing. It needs to be a line. There were 2 things. We'll start one at a time. It needs to be a line. So we're going to take a look. Do our X values change evenly? Yes, they do. Do the Y values change evenly? Yes, they do. So it is a line. Again, I put a check mark by it. You can put yes, no, or whatever works for you. Number 2, it needs to go through the origin. If you don't see the 0, 0 on the table, then we need to make it. Again, for us, that usually means going backwards. So 4, 3, 2, 1. The previous number before 1 would have been 0. Along the bottom, same thing, going back. 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Aha! The 0 zeros, they're stacked on top of each other. It goes through the origin. Check. So before we go and answer the puzzle worksheet as it is designed by the book, let's answer it the way I want us to do it. So, is it a direct variation? Yes, and justify your answer. It's a line, that's number 1, that goes through the origin. That's number 2. So the way I want us to do this is to justify. You're not going to see that as your answer. As you look over here to number 1, it's either yes or no. So since number 1 is yes in the number 1 spot, circle up the letter T. It corresponds to the yes column. I circle it up. I've seen people shade in the whole box. I think that looks super cool. I can't do it with my pens. It doesn't work the same. But whatever we're going to do, number 1, the answer is letter T. So we're going to go over here, put down T. And that's how the worksheet is set up by the book. But the problem is our scale-aligned assessment is even further than that. It goes beyond just asking, is it direct variation? Our big thing that we hit home on is find K. So since we said yes, please put down find K as you and I work on this together. Do note, when you're doing this on your own, you don't need to put down the word find. You just need to tell me what K equals. From the table, please make the note to yourself. Remind yourself that your constant of proportionality, your K is going to be the change in Y over the change in X. Yes, write that in, because you need to remember where this K, where this number magically appears. And again, it's not going to be here in the answers like the puzzle worksheet normally where you can find it. So notice, Y is on top. We need to do change in Y first. The tricky part is, when you go to the table, we must find Y and focus on it, top or bottom. Since it's on the bottom, what is the change in Y? How did the bottom numbers change evenly? Since they changed by 1, please make your numerator, please make the top 1. Then go back, and what was the change in X? Careful on the table. Our X is put on top. Doesn't mean it's always going to be that way, but that's how it's set up now. So the change in X, the change on the top, they changed evenly by 1. That is a fraction that we can simplify. However, 1 divided by 1 is not 0. 1 divided by 1 gives us is 1. So K is 1. That's the big thing that we're going to hit home on with our scale-aligned assessment, is finding K. Though the value 1 is nowhere on the worksheet to help us note that. Let's do number 3. On your test on the scale line assessment, you're going to have one table where you have to not just say if it's a direct variation or not. You have to find K. So here we go. Does X and Y show direct variation? Number one, is it a straight line? So across the top, even though there's a negative, do they all change evenly across the top? Yep. Across the bottom, do the Y's all change evenly? Whoa. No. No, they don't. So our answer is no. You could tell me, because this weird one here doesn't change evenly, you could say that the Y's don't change evenly. I'm just going to say no, it's not a line. Between the two things we had to do, line and through the origin, if one of them's a no, that's what I put down for my justification at the time of this video. So, journey with me over here to 3. Careful, we skipped one, so make sure you skip down to 3. And then go down the no column. So we're going to use the letter E for 3. Pardon the rhyme that time. And that's it. So you can be praying. You can be hoping and wishing, please let it be a no, because then there's no extra work. That's it. So again, don't find K. It's only if yes, then we find K. There's a few more tables on this side and one on the other side. Again, on your scale line assessment, there's one table. So you're going to want to be able to do that. Flip it over to the back. Join me on number 8 and... Yep, spoiler alert, there's going to be one equation on the scale line assessment, and you have to tell us yes or no, and find K. So, on above number 8, could you please put down y equals kx? This came from our definition. If it has direct variation, it will be in the form y equals kx. So, before I mentioned as well, sometimes it's easier to say, is there any adding or subtracting? Or if there's any exponents, then the answer is no. Because notice, y equals kx, any subtraction, any addition? Nope. Any exponents, any powers on the x or the y? Nope. So that's what we want. In number 8, are there any adding or subtracting? Nope. Any exponents? Nope. Sweet. That's what we want. So the answer is yes. And again, as I'm recording this video, I have said at this point in time, you could tell me yes, because there's no adding or subtracting. I will accept that. However, the textbook has us write it this way. Yes, it can be written as y equals kx. You don't need to change colors, that's just what I do. But again, this y equals kx came from definition. The definition of a direct variation is it can be written in this form, y equals kx. So before we go find the yes on the other side, since we said yes, we need to find k. So as you and I are doing this together, please write down find k. When you do it on your own, you only need to say that k equals whatever number it is. So here's the nice thing. K is the coefficient. K is the number in front of x. K is the number being multiplied by x. So in this case, what is with our x? What number is being multiplied? 12. That's it. So you just tell me that k equals 12. No extra work, no nothing. Again, the downside, as I make this video, the answer that we're looking for in the puzzle worksheet is yes. So finding k, which is the main thing, is not there. So I apologize about that. But journey to the front, go over to the right where number 8 is. On number 8, in the first column, that's the one that corresponds to yes. Shade it on in or circle it on up so you know we're going to use the letter E for number 8. So number 8 is the letter E. Again, if you know it, rule number 1. Don't shout it out. Rule number 2, finish showing all the work. Your points don't come from knowing how bees get to school. This is only 5 points here. Let's go to the back. We're going to do number 12 as our last one. Once again, since you and I are working on this together, could you please put y equals kx either right below it or above it? I've got room above it. Try to make a bunch of space on here for us. So notice again, y equals kx. It has no subtraction. It has no addition. It does not have any exponents or powers or any numbers, tiny numbers attached to it. That's what we want. So on number 12, is there any adding or subtracting or exponents? That's not going to work. So again, the answer that we need for the puzzle worksheet is no, but the answer you need for me, for points, you now need to justify. I will accept. No, it has subtraction. However, I'm going to write it like our book says. No, it cannot be written as y equals kx. And since we said no, you can say hallelujah. You can do whatever you want because there's no extra work. Once you say no and explain, you're done. So number 12, journey to the front. Since it's no, go to that second column. If you know it, shh, don't shout it out. And remember, even if you can look here at this column and you can figure out what the joke is, your points are not coming from figuring out how do bees get to school. Your points are coming from your justification and finding K when you say yes. 20 points, as per usual. You may work with partners. Make sure to turn it on in when you are done.